Everybody. I'm here today to discuss an article that I put up on the blog, Surviving Dating. I posted a link to it on a couple of websites and got some really interesting comments from a group of males that indicated they totally did not understand what the article was about. So I'm going to break it down into more detail. Now, the article is called How Nice Guys Can Develop the Player Edge That Women Love. It's written by a friend of mine named Rom Wills. But since Rom's not here, I got to fill in for him and kind of just discuss this issue. Now, he says that there are two kinds of men, that there are select men and there are non-select, and that the women look, of course, for the guys who are in the select group. This is the group that he describes as men who can keep women in a state of romantic intoxication. In other words, these are the groups of guys that turn women on. They have a long litany of attributes, which I will be going into later, and these are the guys that get all the women. This is what women are looking for. Now, of course, the guys may not have everything on the list, but they have a majority of the things, and I'll be going over those in a little bit. And those men tend to be in big demand, so they're in rather short supply. So when a woman says, I can't find a guy on my level, that is pretty much what she means. She means one of these guys in the select group. Now, the guys who are in the non-select group can get women, but they're just going to have to work harder at it. They are not naturally skilled or don't naturally possess the attributes that I'm going to be relaying to you. So, what some guys don't understand is that, yeah, looks, a woman does pay attention to looks. A woman does pay attention to money. A woman does pay attention to the body fit of a guy. She pays attention to how he talks, how he handles himself, a whole lot of things that guys don't want to give any credence to in the dating game because they don't have that skill set. But if you don't, you need to get your butt in gear and get it, because otherwise you're going to be, pretty much by yourself the rest of your life, because women don't want the non-select men. Now, what Rom discusses is that there are 4 points here. If non-select men wish to become select, there are basically 4 things they must do. He says the first thing you got to realize is that women choose the men. Now, men think that if they approach and start up a conversation that they're picking a woman. No, what you're merely doing is giving yourself an opportunity. It's like you're going, you're like on the runway, and you're modeling your outfit, and some people are going to take a look at it and like what you offer, and some people are not. That's exactly what approaching does. So the more you approach, the more likely you are to get your outfit chosen. See what I mean? Okay, the second thing he says is that men must work on their physical appearance. You got that giant belly, you got man boobs, you haven't had a haircut in a month, your beard is scraggly, your skin is jacked up, your body is softer than a marshmallow because you don't lift weights, you don't do anything. These are not attributes that are attractive to women, bottom line. Just like guys want to say, well, a woman who's really, really big is not attractive. Well, we think the same thing about you. Please don't get it twisted. So, best in both ends of the spectrum. If you're too small or you're too big, both of those ends of the spectrum are not desirable to women. So if you're a little puny guy, you need to hit some steel and eat more food and bulk yourself up so you look more masculine. If you're a big old fat dude, you need to back away from the cheeseburgers and all the fatty food that you eat, reduce your caloric intake, and hit the gym. Do something with yourself. The third thing that Rom says is that you have to develop yourself economically. That means you gotta, have some goals for yourself. Get your butt out, get in school, do whatever you need to do to establish yourself as a man with promise and a future. If a woman is looking for a husband and a father and someone to have a family with, yo, broke ass ain't gonna make the cut. You sitting around on your hands twiddling your thumbs, thinking that somebody's going to pick you. They're not. Who wants you? Nobody wants you, and no one with any sense. And we're talking about the women who are going after the select men, okay? Those women do not want you. And the fourth and most important thing a man has to do is to move into the select group is to develop self-respect. Now, women will often say that a guy is, quote, too nice. What that means is you don't have any confidence. You let her run all over you. You don't have an opinion about anything. You don't make a decision about anything. You are just like a lump on a log. There are a lot of guys that do that, thinking mistakenly that they're being nice and that the woman is going to like that behavior. That is not true. A woman wants a man who behaves like a man. So if you are acting like a weenie, that is not going to make her respect you as her man. So you have a choice to make. You basically, guys, have to stand up for yourself and be a person that demands respect, not in an arrogant asshole way, but just by the way that you carry yourself, the way that you conduct your business, the way that you make decisions. Those are the things that makes a woman respect you as a man. Now, one of the guys made a comment that he felt that men in the non-select group are more likely to have money than men in the select group. No, they're not. If they did, they would be in the select group. You're not getting it. The guys, and he also says that if a guy in a select group has money, it's because he hustles, and that's the only way he can get money. Are you kidding me? This sounds like a straight hater. The guys in the select group are, in my mind, and this is a list that I put together. The guys in the select group offer women this list of attributes. They are financially stable. They have money. They're educated. They're handsome. They have a good body. I'm not saying it has to be the best, not like, Michelangelo's David or anything, but they have a nice, masculine, firm body. They're pleasant to be around. This is key because a lot of the nice guys are whiners. They're always complaining about something. When a woman picks up the phone or gets in your face on a date, she does not want to always hear something negative out of your mouth. You need to be coming with some pleasant conversation, something that's entertaining, that's going to draw her to you, not repulse her. Sexy. Okay, I talked about that a little earlier. That has to do with not only your physical appearance, but how you talk to and engage women. You're a mannerly, you're a gentleman. Okay, you don't call women names. You know how to open doors. You do all that kind of thing. You treat women with respect. You have class. A lot of guys are classless. I suggest that you take some kind of class in how to be a person with class. Maybe learn about wine, learning about seating and table arrangements, learn how to sit down at a formal place setting, things of that nature, so that you can conduct yourself in the world outside of the hood. Become a conversationalist. What can you talk about besides sports and money or some goofy stuff? Learn to have a broad range of things that you can talk about. Women also appreciate a man who's funny, who makes her laugh, who's got a good wit, basically a sense of humor. We like men that are confident and strong. That means decisive, independent, able to make a decision. We love men that are interesting. A guy that's always got some really interesting, funny story to share, something that's intriguing mentally, something like that you maybe are learning something from him. A guy that has that ability is like priceless. Someone with good social skills. We want to be able to take you places and not be embarrassed about how you're going to look, dress, or the things that you're going to say. That is very, very important. You are an assertive person. You don't let people run over you being that, quote, nice guy. That means you're a weenie, you're a punk. No woman wants to be with a man who's a weenie or a punk. And last thing I put on this list is masculine. That means there should never be a confusion about which one of us has the bigger nuts. Okay, that that is unfortunately a complaint that many women have. So a lot of guys, they feel, are just too weak. They're like what we call bitch made. And women don't want a bitch made man. We want a real man. That does not mean that you're an arrogant asshole. That means that you are a masculine man that is decisive, that knows his worth, and that has confidence in himself. Okay, now looking at that list that I just rattled off, a man who's what we call the non-select group, he might have a couple of those things going for him, but only a couple. There's some gaping holes in his presentation. So he was going to be like, a woman might date him for a minute, and then she's going to be like, nah, this is really not working for me, and she's going to move on. Or you can have, at least, what is this list, like 12 to 15 things I think I read off. Okay, if you are a guy and you have at least 12 of those 15 things, you are on hit. Now, I have to warn you, each woman is going to put those things in a different order. So some of these things that, that may be, because I just read them off in no particular order. I just read them off in the order that I thought of them. Some women are going to put maybe some of the things I put in the middle or the bottom of this list way up at the top in the number 1 or 2 position. So even if you are a non-select man, if you don't offer the things that she has on the top of her list, it won't matter that you have the other things. She's going to pass you by. Now, if you don't get that, rewind and listen to that part again, because that is very, very important. The guys feel like, well, I have this, I have that. It doesn't matter. If that's not important to that woman, she's not going to pick you. All right? So, all this analysis and, this excuse making that guys were doing when I was telling them about this video that I was going to make, and when I posted this article, they just didn't seem to understand that women do want a guy that has good looks. We do want a guy has some money. We don't want to be with the man who's got bill payers chasing after him. He doesn't have a car. He lost his place. All this stuff. If that's your situation, I'm not saying that you're not going to get out of it, but I'm just saying you probably are not going to do well in the dating field until you do. And the less of the things that you have on the list that I read off, the more likely you are to be passed over by women in the dating field. So if you want to become a select man and have pretty much your pick of women, work on that list of things. Make sure that you can go down the list. Check, 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 check. If you have all that going for you, you will not be single a moment longer than you want to be. My name is Deborah Cooper. I'm advice columnist on survivingdating.com and examiner.com. I welcome your comments.